So, have you noticed any interesting changes with people this week? Have you noticed any changes with people? I used to work in a vet years ago, and around this time of the month, people would start saying that there were changes in people. They were acting a little different, maybe a little more anxious, or they'd be a little more irritated. That you'd find that there'd be more issues with clients, more so the owners, I guess, in this case. And that was associated with the full moon. And today is the full moon. It's specifically a harvest moon, actually. And this is when the moon is actually slightly bigger than it normally would be, and a little brighter even. And what I was reading, hopefully I can remember as much as I can. Basically, the moon around this time of year becomes closer and brighter towards the morning, and this is when farmers would be kind of finishing up their harvests, and it was kind of just the indicator for them that the fall was coming and allowing them time to get their harvest completed. Kate, yes, I worked in retail for almost 20 years and noticed the same. It's pretty interesting. I was in retail as well, and it's really fascinating to see how people are just a little bit different. They come in, they're expecting more. Maybe they're more anxious or just frustrated more. It's just, yeah, it's intriguing. And the cause can be tied to parasites. Now, I've said this before many times. What is the simplest way to test whether you have parasites? And just take your two fingers and put it on your throat. Can you find your pulse? Be gentle with it, of course. Can you find your pulse? I'm sure you have, because if you're watching, you should have a pulse. And that means that you more than likely have parasites. It's something that's not discussed very often. It's often said that it's from other countries. It's not something that's in North America. Most of you out there probably have pets, and those pets are being dewormed so often throughout the year, or like there's mentions of heartworms and stuff like this. Your pets can get parasites, and that means you can get parasites. They're everywhere. So if you're noticing people, even yourself, having more symptoms, are you having more headaches this week? I had so many headaches. I was having headaches every day this week. So I kind of had to switch up some of my supplements a little bit and add one in. It was just that headache just hanging around here and very distracting and very annoying. So this is something that could be happening. And then there could be, maybe you're dealing with arthritis normally. You've got inflammation in your joints. Parasites like to make those things worse. If you have allergies, this is a time when maybe they're a little worse than normal. The season's changing. Sometimes that kind of gets the blame for it. But if the full moon's on, the parasites are becoming more active. They're having their parasite party because they're just in full gear. It's the nighttime. The melatonin in our bodies drops, so serotonin increases, and parasites have many serotonin receptors. So they are just going. And something else that feeds them and gets them going even more is when you're consuming carbs and sugar. So if maybe your cravings are that much more intense right this week, or maybe even just today, this can be why. You're having more constipation or diarrhea. Parasites play a role in many of these things. Insomnia, maybe your sleep changes, anxiety, if I haven't mentioned that already, teeth grinding. This is something that I've dealt with. And I know Kate has a personal story where she was playing hockey. I don't know, it was a few years ago. She was in the locker room with her teammates, and everyone was talking about teeth grinding. And next thing you know, everyone's like, yeah, I experienced that. I experienced that too. And I know Kate's sitting there like, hold on a second. You're all experiencing this? Yeah, it's in my family. My kids have it too. Just means you probably have the same parasites. And I know thinking about parasites, kind of gross, kind of something you don't want to think about, you don't want to talk about. But parasites are causing a lot of issues in our body, and it's something that we need to actually address. The definition of a parasite is something that feeds on a host. They deplete you of your nutrients and your minerals and anything that you need to run your body, they can come in and steal from you. And that leads to issues with your own body. And they don't want to leave your body. They're pretty happy with kicking it back and staying in this new home that they have where everything's provided for them. It's warm. They've got food, sugar's coming in. They just send out the signals, you're craving whatever it is, or maybe they're getting a little more riled up and that's reflecting in how your behavior is. There's so many interesting nuggets about them. And parasites can be anywhere from microscopic to large worms that can be many, many feet long. They can live in your body for many years also, which is pretty insane. I know we've had some clients mentioning just some changes with in their business. Have you noticed any changes within working with clients and just some differences out of their ordinary behavior? Just something to pay attention to because parasites play into all this. What is Kate saying here? Fatigue this week has been a common complaint I've heard. Yeah. There's so many avenues that they can impact. And where's the first place that you can be exposed to parasites? It's very fascinating that in utero is the first place that you can be exposed. I haven't personally worked with any babies, but I've heard stories from other practitioners where they've worked with children, really young children, and they have parasites. I was like, you just got here. How did you get these? And this is something that can be transferred from mom. So it's just something to think about. And beyond where we first come into the world, we've brought in whatever mom has transferred to us, and we can pick up toxins and parasites from a lot of things. Parasites can be in the food that we're eating. Parasites are in the water. They can be in the air. If you'd like to go traveling, this is when you're likely to pick up something. And all the pictures we've seen, yes, there's been some really interesting pictures. If you search online and type in parasites, you'll be definitely grossed out for sure. This is something you want to not turn away from. It's important information to know in order to get better and handle your health issues. They are pretty much linked to most health issues that you could have. If you did a search, parasites, and maybe you put arthritis, you put gut issues, you put, there's a C word out there that I'm going to say it anyway, cancer. If you put that in there, any sort of issue that you or someone has dealt with, if you tie that to parasites, you're probably going to find some articles on that. So we just mentioned that parasites can come from food. They can come from veggies. They can come from meat as well. If you like your meat very rare, this is where you're going to experience parasites. I already mentioned pets. This is where if you have pets in your home, if they sleep in your bed, this is where you're likely to pick up parasites off them as well. Because we have a dog and he's outside. He's into everything. He likes to. He sees a big brush of grass and he's in there. He likes to go all the way through. So this is where things can be picked up. And if there happen to be, I know some people out there will allow their pets to kind of lick their face and stuff. This is something that you can look at perhaps avoiding because that's where you can pick them up. Where I was getting to with traveling, going back to that, if you enjoy traveling, if you enjoy going to the beach and grounding yourself, bare feet on the ground anywhere, not just the beach, you can pick up parasites that way. I would not trade going barefoot on the beach for anything. Just let me tell you that, because the grounding effect and the benefits of that kind of outweigh as long as you're handling parasites otherwise. You can get them from public swimming pools. You can also get them from your spouse. Where was I going to go there? They are, as I said, they're very smart. They don't want to leave this home that they've created for themselves. They are constantly laying eggs because they want to survive. And that can go into the thousands. I had a number. Oh, here it is. They can lay about 5,000 per day. And there were a variety of different numbers that I found when I looked that up. So that's just something they want to preserve themselves and keep things going. They can even release a chemical in your body that prevents you from having bowel movements. So if you're having constipation quite often, or maybe most of your life has been constipation, maybe that's why. Maybe there's a parasite in your body that's preventing you from having bowel movements, and that's because they want to survive. They don't want to be released from your body. So just interesting little nuggets to think about if you're dealing with like vomiting, diarrhea, headaches. As I said, I was struggling with headaches this week, and I haven't had them daily like that for quite a long time. So if you're noticing something that you've been dealing with this week that's kind of out of your normal, or maybe it's worse than it normally is, it could be tied to this. And that's when you're working with us, you're working with a practitioner, you're going to be tested to find out what's going on. Are they the cause of your allergies? Are they the cause of your arthritis? What's going on? Ants in your pants. Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you for that reminder. We were on a plane back in April, and I know I can be very fidgety. I move my legs. I bounce a lot when I'm in the car. On the plane was this guy just across from me, and he was just jumping. I was like, and I was just thinking to myself, I know I can be bad with this because I'm just constantly, I can't keep still. And this guy was just constantly jumping and jumping. I can't even show you because I'm sitting down, but I just couldn't believe how much was going on. I'm like, are you that anxious about being on the plane, or is it parasites? And perhaps it could be a combination of both. My goodness, I have not seen anyone jumping like that before. It was pretty intense. It was actually making me a little anxious just watching him. But it's interesting when you have the knowledge of what parasites can do to you, what they can do to a person, and you can kind of look around and think, okay, yeah, that person, maybe they're dealing with that as well. But the important things to know is that you can do something about it. There are solutions to help handle the parasites and handle the symptoms you're having. And we use quantum nutrition testing where we can tap into your body and figure out what's going on. It's all energy based. And if you've been watching any of our stuff on Instagram, if you haven't followed us on Instagram, Align Natural Health is where you can find us. We have lots of great new content there. It's kind of everything being shared between Kate and myself. So if you haven't followed us, follow us there. And so if you've been watching any of that content and you're curious, you've been trying all the things to get better health, get better, be able to do the things that you used to be able to do, and maybe someone's blaming age or some other factor that's really, it's BS, to be honest. If they don't have an answer for you, if your blood work's coming back normal again, yet you still have symptoms going on, that's a sign that something is going on. You know your body best. And if you're not getting answers, it just means where you're going right now can't give you answers or don't know how to give you answers. This is something we can help you with. So if you're curious to know more, you want to find out what's going on with yourself, we can help you do that. All you have to do is book a discovery call with us. I think we have a couple spots coming up maybe next week or the week after. So they're limited spots, but if you're curious, please go ahead now and book those. Shameless plug, yeah. Thank you for posting the link, Kate. So if you're curious at all, please go book a discovery call. You won't regret that. We can find out if we're a good fit, because that's one of the most important things, practitioner to client. You want to make sure you are a good fit on both ends, if that's awesome. So go book your call, go to alignnaturalhealth.com, or you can go to Instagram. If you're watching on Facebook, there's the link in my About section. Go there and click and check out all the information on us. Check out all our other videos. So that's kind of all I had. If you're noticing anything weird happening, because this can happen before the full moon, which is today, and even days after the full moon. So just be aware, notice what's going on around you, notice the changes in people, notice the changes in yourself. And if you want to find out more, book that discovery call. And I didn't say my name at the beginning, oddly enough. I usually do. This is Amanda Golightly from Align Natural Health. I hope you have an amazing weekend and a great day. Take care, everyone.